evening, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. And this is my first interview. I must say it's easier giving interview than interviewing. It's challenging. Sadhguru, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and thanks to all the volunteers who've worked so hard. So my first question to you is that when I first heard about you many years ago, I rolled my eyes and I muttered something about guru types. And until few months ago, when my sister gave me your book, Inner Engineering, which happens to be New York Times bestseller, it changed my perspective. And when I was working on this interaction, I came across few interviews of yours, one of them being with a senior writer from my field, and he was vehemently attacking you. Like he was trying to frame you for being fake, and he himself is accused of plagiarism. So my question is that why does a person connected to spirituality on its path is everyone feels entitled to judge them? And honestly, if it wasn't New York Times bestseller book, I would have not read it. What is it about the West, this West stamp that we can't do without it? I mean, there are so many books, and unless Americans don't approve of it, it just doesn't make sense. Why is that?
This is multiple questions. About people's resistance to someone like me. When I say someone like me, someone who has not messed with himself, okay? He didn't cut his hair, he didn't do anything, he's simply the way nature intended him to be. That's all the problem they have with me. They think you have to belong somewhere. You have to be this religion or that religion or this party or that party. You got to be something. Today, if you look at the world, now that you mentioned America, and it's also beginning to happen in our country in a big way, in imitation of United States, I would say. See, in United States, talk to anybody, they'll say, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican. What this essentially means is, you have no clue what is democracy. If you say, I'm this, and my father also was this, and my grandfather also was a Republican, so this I am. What this means is, you have become a tribe.
You've become
a tribe, you know. Mm-hmm. Once you become a tribal war is inevitable. It's going to happen somewhere. Democracy means every time you must see these 5 years or 4 years, whatever the term, how they have functioned, and individually you make a choice whom to vote for. You're already committed to vote to a particular party no matter what. This means you become a tribe. You've gone back to feudalistic way of living, but you're talking democratic language. So this has happened in a huge way in United States. So these jokes keep going around. Someone trying to convert a Republican into a Democrat. So they came and asked, why don't you vote for Democrats? See what kind of president you got. So he said, no, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, my father was a Republican, and my grandfather was a Republican, so I'm a Republican, that's it. So this guy asked, suppose your grandfather was a jackass and your father was a jackass, what would you be? He said, of course, a Democrat.
Okay.
So, we are taking things from there all the time, and in India also slowly we are moving in that direction, unfortunately. About New York Times New York Times a lot of things you could say about New York Times, but I think their president is speaking. As to what is New York Times, I don't have to say a thing. we still have not got out of the Firang syndrome. You know what's Firang?
I know,
Yeah.
of course.
So we've still not gotten out of that Firang syndrome, it has to come from there. Today, why do you think so many people are talking about yoga? The yoga they're talking about in India is largely a rebound from the American coast. They're not talking about the yoga that is here. This is the source of yoga. And people's understanding of yoga is…
Sadhguru, that brings to me a question about our roots ingrained in yoga and spirituality. But where has it got us as a nation, as a country, as a continent? What has it given us? Like, I know what you say about karma bondage, and I will quote you. No, I'll quote you. If somebody, he says about karma, breaking karma bondage, that if somebody breaks your leg, don't go after that person's leg. Fix your leg and go your way. I understand, that sounds fantastic. But if somebody breaks your leg and you go your way, somebody again comes, break your leg, what do you do? And then
Why do you
others
think people are so much interested in your legs?
No, Sadhguru, you're literally taking it, but tell me, don't we have a history of 1,000 years of
Yes.
invasion after invasion, and didn't we grew up hearing this from our mothers that, oh, if somebody rubs you wrong way, the only thing that they say is, oh, Bhagwan dekh raha hai. What? So,
Say this,
I mean, we as a land, I mean, I don't know much about history, but this much I know that we as a land, we have not, and thanks to our spiritual education, that we have never gone to invade a continent or gone for a conquest like that. But where has it got us? Where has it landed us? So why not imitate West?
Okay. You must give me a few minutes. You raised a whole lot of things about history. So what has the spiritual process given us as a land, as a nation, as a culture? You must understand this. Let's understand this very clearly. Here we always focused on individual development. Because without creating great human beings, there is no great nation, there is no great culture, there is no great world. World, nation, society, these are just words. It's just you and me. What kind of people we are, that's the kind of society, that's the kind of nation, that's the kind of world we will live in. So we always focused on individual development. In this we produce stellar human beings, absolutely fantastic human beings for thousands of years, who created a fantastic culture. And let me remind you, our safety was our geographical features. The Himalayan region, the Himalayan ranges, and the Indian Ocean, which was called as Indus-Sagar at one time. So this he and Hindu, together we made it Hindu. So you must understand, it is a geographical entity. We revered the mountains and the ocean because we knew our safety, our well-being and our cultural flourish and our economic prosperity of the time, everything depended on these two barriers which stopped people from invading and doing things. But then people found ways to cross the mountains and come across and come through the oceans, everything happened. So our problem was just this, we focused on human genius all the time, but we lacked organization. The West always focused on organization, but they did not focus on individual genius. For both there is a price. So now we have come to a place where we cannot ignore individual genius, we have to focus on that. At the same time, we need to learn to organize. That's what we are struggling at right now, that we want to organize.
Can I ask? So, Sadhguru,